I'm back in North Wales and I'm in Eryri National Park, Snowdonia. Right now I'm walking along the northern side of Llyn Idwal, which is right in the heart of Ogwen Valley. I'm surrounded by the Glyderau and the Carneddau Way mountain ranges, and this really is a beautiful place. So we've got the mighty Ffynnon over there, and this route I'm doing today, I may be up here for 2 days, I'm not quite sure yet, but I'm just winging this route, I'm just making it up as I go along. So for today, we're going to go heading up in that direction up to Pen or Ole Wen, and from there I'm going to make a decision where I'm going to head. Right then, let's get this climb done. I passed a cool bridge at the start of the walk, and it's got a fascinating bit of history attached to it, but it's a bit noisy to speak there and then with a waterfall. It was built by Thomas Telford in the early 1900s as part of the London to Dublin mail route, and the current bridge replaced a steep section of the original coach route, and the remains of an earlier medieval pack horse bridge can still be seen beneath it. The older bridge is thought to date back to the medieval period. It's raining already. The sun was supposed to be out today. As soon as I put my coat on, it stops. It's that bloody wall again. That's the lake out the way. We're going to start the ascent now. These gusts of wind are pretty strong. The Met Office is saying up on top today we're going to have gusts of wind 30 to 40 miles an hour. And tonight around 8 o'clock it should die down to 20 miles an hour, which will be ideal for me to set up and pitch a tent for the night. Let's have a look at Ffynnon. The last time I walked through here, I think it was 3 years ago. I know it was September, we had a heat wave, it was a scorcher. Myself, Marianne and Toby, we walked the Snowdonia Way. That's a beautiful hike. It's a 100-miler and it runs the length of the national park from south to north. And we walked all the way up through Ogwen Valley, up along the lake, and I remember we camped at that bridge up there. It was a beautiful day. That's a great hike, the Snowdonia Way. Well, I'm feeling a little fitter than when I was up in the Rhinogs. I most certainly blew the cobwebs off. Just come slightly off route to check out this tarn for future potential camping spots. It's called Ffynnon Lloer, and I'm just looking down there now, and it looks like it's a nice flat spot where you could possibly pitch a tent. This is an awesome climb. The terrain is very rugged and rocky, and the views up here are beautiful. We get to the top now. I think we'll stop, have a brew and make some food. That was a tough little climb, but a good one. I enjoyed that. This is the 7th highest mountain in Wales, and it stands at 3,209 feet. And when I got on top, the weather turned pretty grim. Strong gusts of wind, it started raining, and it's actually gone quite cold. So I've taken shelter, and I'm going to sit here for an hour. I'm in no rush. I'm going to have some food, chill out, have a brew, and I've just checked the forecast, and within the next hour the weather should be clearing up and it should be okay for the day, and tomorrow's looking really nice, so fingers crossed it'll stay that way, and I hope it stays dry. Oh, I'm gutted because I turned my back, I took my pack off, I turned my back, and a strong gust of wind took my Osprey rainproof cover. Gone. It's probably on top of Trivan somewhere, so luckily I've got everything in there waterproofed anyway, but it's an important bit of kit. It keeps the rain off the pack, but never mind. So I'm gonna get food on the go now and have some proper food in me. I've been up since 4 o'clock this morning to do the drive, and I've only had a bit of fruit today. So I've got a Thai green lentil curry in there. I've vacuum sealed that myself, and I've got a bag of basmati rice. I've got a bag of rice, so I'll boil that up now and get some food on the go. I'm really surprised how cold it is. I've had to put a few extra layers on, and at the start of our walk it's very boggy and my feet got wet. My feet are absolutely freezing, but the weather's starting to clear up and the sun's trying to break through the clouds, so I'm going to finish off my coffee and we'll get going and warm up. You hear the noise, those fighter jets. Yeah, it's cleared up nice. Little windy, but it's dry and the sun's coming out. That's that lake, a tarn I stopped at on the way up. And just look at the scenery. It's beautiful, and there's no one here. There's a few people on top. Now there's not a soul in sight. Look at that for a big old cane. I'm looking at this ominous looking black cloud that's heading towards me. I'm wondering if I should stay here, and if it turns bad I can take shelter in that cane. Well, I sat inside that cane for a good half hour or so waiting for this weather to clear, and it's just got worse. You can't even see the mountains now, and the wind's picking up and there's rain coming in. So I could be wrong, but I got a feeling that the weather's going to turn bad, even though the forecast is saying it's meant to brighten up. So rather than push on into the mountains and maybe get caught out in bad weather, what I'm going to do, I'm going to head back down to that tarn that we stopped at on the way up, that little lake. So I really like the look of that. That looked a nice little pitch. What I was thinking of doing was walking a few more miles in that direction, and there's 2 lakes there I was going to look at, maybe camp there for the night. But I don't want to be getting caught out in shite weather. Read a book, worn a t-shirt. So we'll head down here now and maybe get pitched up for the night. The sun's come out now, unbelievable, but never mind, it'll probably start raining again now in another half hour or so. But there's the lake down there, and that's where I made the ascent to come up. I'm thinking rather than heading all the way around there now and doing that descent, I'm looking down here, it's just nice grassy slopes, but I'm going to check it out And if I think it looks safe, I'm going to head straight down there. That wasn't too bad. Looking at it from here, it looks impossible to get down. That wasn't too bad. It wasn't easy. I got down there okay. I'd rather have done that and I had to walk all the way back around there. I made the descent and I'd have had to come all the way back up here around the lake. So I decided to go and look at that little spot there now. It looks like people may have camped there. I can see a few rocks there and it looks like a nice flat ground. And the reason I'm going for that is if the wind carries on coming from that direction, hopefully I'll be protected from the wind for the night. Lovely jubbly. Got a nice flat pitch right there. And I'm surrounded by this. Beautiful. I've got a new sleeping bag to try out. My last one had it, so I had to buy a new one. I know one of these people has got loads of kit and a different tent for every day of the week. I've got what I need and I manage with what I've got. So I've had my eye on this for a while and I've been waiting nearly a year for it to go down in price, and it was finally on sale the other day. I picked it up for, I think it was $269. I think it retails around 350. Don't quote me on that, mind. So CL Kit Pipe Dream 600. It's a 4-season. It goes down to -12 centigrade and it weighs 1,085 grams, I think. So I read plenty of reviews on it and I couldn't find any negative ones, and yeah, people are saying good things about it. Like I said, I haven't used it yet. I've tried it in the house to make sure it's good for my size and everything, and felt quite snug in there, so we'll see how we get on with that tonight. My mattress, I've got the Firmarest X Firm. This has got an R value of 7.3 and it weighs, I think it's 567 grams. So I use this all year round, nice and lightweight, and wrapped up somewhere in the bottom I have my little flex tail pump. And I've brought my Alt Kit foam pad. It's nice and lightweight. I don't need the extra insulation from the ground, but I find it stops me sliding around in the tent. It also comes in handy as a little seat or something to lay on outside. After a day of walking, one thing I like to do is get fresh clothes on, get some comfies on, and more importantly, look after my feet, sort my feet out. So I always carry these with me. I call them my slippers, my Merrells. I've had these about 10 years. They're not the best looking of things, but they're super lightweight and they're comfy. And in there, I always keep a pair of merino wool socks. And in here, I have a big bag of talcum powder. Rather than carry a big bottle of talc, when you put it on your feet it blows everywhere. Keep a bag of talc like that and I just dip my feet in there. Well, I've got to say, I'm loving this spot. I'm quite glad our weather turned bad earlier, or I would have just kept pushing on and who knows where I'd be now. But this is perfect. What a location. Look at the surroundings. Fantastic. My little slice of paradise for the night. And get food on the go now. I'm absolutely starving. Nothing flash tonight, nice and simple. I got a bag of couscous. Did you know there's lots of protein in couscous? This is one of those packs, a standard pack you'd buy, say in Tesco. There's 15 grams of protein in there. in there. I vacuum sealed this myself. It's all pre-cooked. It doesn't look much at all because it's vacuum sealed. There's quite a lot in there. I got a bag of tofu in there and roasted chickpeas, and in there that looks pathetic, but that's actually a big bag of vegetables, greens and stuff. So all I've got to do now, boil those in hot water, and I'll use the hot water then to soak the couscous. And also I've got some garlic breads, and for dessert I've got some custard in there. All I gotta do is pour water in there, stir it up. I'm gonna drop that cake in there, and I've got a chocolate chip cake. I'm looking forward to this. I'm really hungry. Even though it's very windy, I'm still able to cook outside. I've got the Soto Windmaster with me. It's a great little stove. The flame works well in the wind, but the stove doesn't stand up in the wind. Gust of wind just knocked it flying. Thank God my food is in vacuum sealed bags, or I'd be going hungry for the night. For what it is, that tastes pretty good. Right, let's crack a can open. I've got a can with me for tonight. It's a Northern Monk, and it's called Even More Faith. It's a dipper. It's a double IPA, and it's 8%. Have a little look on the back. It says on there, it's a decadent hazy double IPA, bigger, juicier, hoppier, tropical flavours, and it says best served as cold as the north. Well, it is pretty chilly, to be honest, so that's just at the right temperature, I'd say. Let's crack it open. Earlier on, 3 boys walked right along the other side of the lake. I could tell they were campers looking for somewhere to pitch, and you could tell they couldn't find anywhere. They were looking all over the place for ages, and then they walked right up to the top end of the lake, and they were walking around for half an hour. And for a moment I had visions of them seeing this big patch of green and headed down here and pitching up next to me or something. They've gone and settled up there for the night now, but they've pitched amongst a load of rocks. I'm pretty sure it can't be there any good spot to pitch. It's coming up to 9 o'clock, and I had a 4 AM alarm clock this morning, and I'm starting to feel tired. I'm going to turn in for the night. Good morning, it's 5 AM. I've been awake since 4. I had a great night's sleep, slept solid for 6.5 hours. I was nice and toasty in our sleeping bag. In fact, I was probably a bit too warm in there. I may have to strip off when I jump in there tonight. So I'm just getting breakfast on the go. I got some porridge in there, and fruit, dried fruit and nuts. And I've also added some powdered coconut milk. There's a lot of extra calories in there with that. So I'll just add some hot water to that now. And I got a bit of leftover chocolate chip cake from last night. And I'm going to get a nice coffee on the go as well. One good thing about putting certain foods inside these vacuum sealed bags is the fact you don't have to dirty any pots or pans. They're handy for when you're on the move, and it saves you wasting water. I'm just going to stop and appreciate this spot before I pack up and leave. This really is magnificent. I've I've had a shower, a wet wipe shower, and I've checked myself over for ticks again, and I got nice fresh clothes on, apart from my socks, and I put fresh socks on when we get out of all the grassy marsh down at Llyn Idwal. It's a little bit breezy out there, a little bit of cloud up in the mountains, but I got a feeling it's going to be a nice day. Fingers crossed we'll have a bit of sunshine. So I'm going to get everything packed away now, and we'll get on a go. When I'm out on a hike, I like to keep everything packed away neatly and organised, so I know where everything is. And on a lot of my bags, I've written what's inside them. I've got clothes in there, I've got my Gore-Tex in there. It saves me unpacking the bags when I'm looking for stuff. And when I pack everything away now, things that I will not be using today, I probably won't use them until tonight. For example, my tent, my sleeping bag, my mattress, I'll pack those at the bottom of the pack. Things that I may need today, or I'll need quick access to. For example, my Gore-Tex, warm clothing and food, I'll keep them packed at the top of my pack. Also, I'll distribute the weight evenly, so the weight isn't pulling back on my pack. For example, I'll have lighter stuff on the bottom of my pack, at the front of my pack, heavier stuff then at the back of my pack, up against my back and towards the top of my pack. I've got a full video up on this. It's called weight distribution, showing how I pack my pack and explaining weight distribution. So I've got everything packed individually and waterproofed, and then I'll put those inside this big rucksack liner. Also, I would have my outer liner as well, but I blew away yesterday. Water bottles then, I keep them in these elasticated side pouches. Also, I keep my filter system in there, my soya squeeze. So if ever I need to stop a filter water, I got quick access. My soya squeeze, I really don't want to be losing that, so I'll keep that clipped on there with this carabiner. One thing I forgot to bring with me this time is 2 lightweight carry bags. What I sometimes do when I get to camp in the night is tie them around my feet to keep my slippers dry. And this ground here is quite boggy and marshy, so these are a little wet and my socks are quite damp. So what I'm going to do, we've got this elasticated pouch here on the back of my pack, and it's supposed to be sunny today, so what I'll do, I'll stuff those in there. Hopefully the wind and the sun will dry them out by the time I get to camp tonight. I really don't want to leave this spot. It's beautiful here. So the plan for today is pretty much the same as yesterday. Not much of a plan at all. And it's going to walk and see where I end up. So I'm going to take a walk down to Llyn Idwal, and from there head up to Glyder Fach, and just make it up as I go along and see where I end up tonight. Sometimes that's the best way to do it. I mean, look at yesterday, it didn't quite work out at the weather, but I've ended up in this beautiful spot and I've had a great night. So fingers crossed, today and tonight will be a good one as well.